A late fight back keeps Hearts top of the table. Rangers falter at home to Motherwell, and United perform a demolition in the Dundee derby. Hello, I'm Jonathan Sutherland, and this is the Scottish Football Podcast. All the news, views and analysis you need on Monday the 27th of April. And it was a nice quiet Sunday afternoon in the capital.
But that's it, it's all over at Easter Road. It is victory for Heart of Midlothian, who had to win this derby, and they have done. Hearts
come from behind to beat nine-man Hibs as they stay top. Celtic keep up the pressure at the top, but Rangers suffered defeat to a free-flowing Motherwell.
It's full time at Ibrox, and it's the Motherwell fans over on the far side who have cause to celebrate. The Rangers players fall to the ground.
Could this prove fatal to Danny Roll's title hopes? And after Dundee, Kilmarnock and St Mirren lose, who will end up in the playoff?
Header from Stream 3-0. Brilliant from Will Ferry again in the build-up. Downward header from Ryan straight into the bottom corner. And United have the bragging rights in Dundee.
We'll fill you in on all the weekend drama.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
We are recording this after doing Sunday night sports scene, so I'm delighted to say we are joined by, and it says here, the former Hibs, Rangers and Dundee midfielder Kevin Thomson. Kevin, it's been a tough weekend.
It's been a bad weekend, isn't it? To say the least, Jonathan, it's been bad. But I don't even know where you start. I think you're better going to Faddy because he's been gloating all afternoon.
Oh, here he is, James McFadden. It says here 48 Scotland caps and 15 goals, as if we need reminding that you didn't quite get to 50, Faddy, which is such a shame.
No, it's
not right.
Remind people I scored more than one goal for Scotland.
15 magical goals. I wonder if one of them will be the most iconic goal of all time. We had to drop that trail from Sports Scene tonight because there was simply far too much to talk about this evening. It's been an unbelievable Sunday. And Kevin, if we can start with you. I asked you this on Sports Scene. It felt a little bit unfair given you were a former Hibs player. But Hearts, what a victory that was at Easter Road today, especially in light of the Rangers result earlier against Motherwell at Ibrox. Are Hearts big favourites now for the title?
I think they are. I think if you'd asked me before the fixtures had been played this week, I would have thought that, or I would have said, sorry, my opinion was that Rangers' tails were up. Obviously watching them against Falkirk, albeit lacklustre performance in the first half that I was vocal about. But I thought they were absolutely brilliant in the second half. Obviously got the 5 goals, finished with 6 on the day. Quite a big swing when it comes to the goal difference, which I think will be key, obviously the climax of the season. But to play the way they did in the first half and how brilliant Motherwell were, I think has to be a real disappointment for the Rangers fans, because I've got no doubt that the belief was starting to grow within the supporters. They felt the banner after the Falkirk game was keep believing. The banner with Big Marv pre-match today was keep believing. And there's no doubt that's going to be a huge sucker punch for not just the players but all the fans as well.
James, it did feel like a seismic Sunday, didn't it? With what we saw at Ibrox, the late drama, Motherwell getting that winning goal, and then the script for the Edinburgh derby was just kind of unbelievable. Brilliant start for Hibs, obviously Martin Boyle with that goal in what will be his last Edinburgh derby, and then it all going pear-shaped in terms of having 2 players sent off and Hearts finding a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at Celtic getting the job done on Saturday, and then people then look at it and say, is that an advantage? Well, I think you still need to focus on what your job is. Rangers didn't start the game well at all. Motherwell did. They were excellent in the first half. And then, Hibs got off to a flyer against Hearts, and at one point, Rangers are top of the league on goal difference because they managed to fight back again to get themselves into a position. Then that game swings at Easter Road as well, where Hearts are now top of the table once again, and that's the drama we were hoping for. Fans of Hearts, Rangers and Celtic, they're not hoping for that drama. They want their team to go and win in style every game and run away with the league. But I think when you're watching Scottish football and you're a Scottish football fan, that's the drama you want, because there is still going to be twists and turns. I know there's 4 games left. There will still be twists and turns. There'll still be moments where each of the teams are going to be top of the table. It's going to look like, you know, one of them's dropping out of it, and then all of a sudden they find a way. And that's the drama we've been craving for years in Scottish football. So it felt like Rangers were going to get that all-important victory once again, having to come from behind, having to adjust, having to adapt at half-time, to make changes, to show that fighting spirit and that quality in the end to go and get over the line again. They didn't. Motherwell managed to get, which for me, for this season, the performances against Rangers at Fir Park and Ibrox, a deserving victory because they've been outstanding against them all season, so they deserve to win the game. And for Hearts, they must have thought when Martin Boyle scored, it was written for Hibs to spoil the party for them. Martin Boyle playing his last Edinburgh derby, he's obviously going to be the guy that scores a goal, that derails the Hearts title charge, but they managed to find a way, and that's what all good teams do. They find a way, and people can look and say, you know, the goals are a bit fortunate, Hibs go down to 9 men, well, it's easy to beat teams with 9 men. It's not. You still have to do it. It's easy saying it, but actually doing it. So full credit to Hearts, and the drama continues, and I'm sure it will continue right to the end.
Kevin, we watched it all this afternoon here at Sports Scene HQ. It was incredible to watch Motherwell, especially in the first half. They were back, it seems, to their scintillating best, and for a while they were kind of dark horses mentioned as potential title contenders. That fell away, but they were back with a bang today. And do you see them as real kingmakers in this title race? Because obviously what they did today against Rangers, you could easily see them doing against Celtic and Hearts.
Yeah, I think that'll be I certainly think that Rangers will hold on to that hope that they perform the way they did in that first half, because like what Faddy just said there, they were absolutely brilliant. And they have been, and yeah, they've in recent weeks maybe not had the results that they've wanted, and people think the wheels have fell off, but they've been consistent in the way they've played. They've never changed. The manager's got real belief. Me and Faddy spoke about off air that like there's a real fearless way how they play, and he's made players that have probably never played in this type of style feel good about themselves, feel confident to do it. His man management to give these players belief must be brilliant, and I echo what Faddy said. The performances have merited the results that they've had against Rangers. I think back to that pivotal moment when Rangers were 1-0 up at Motherwell. Motherwell go down to 10 men. They continue to play the same way. Rangers get deeper and deeper. They obviously score late on, Stephen Welsh, and justifiably get what they probably deserved out of the game, which today they almost look, I don't want to blow too much smoke up their backside, but they almost look like a European team coming to Ibrox in the way they play, the way they spread out, the way they attack, how many players they allow to hit the box. They've been absolutely brilliant.
Saw Stephen Welsh's reaction at Fir Park that night. It was big. It was big reaction on social media. Stephen Welsh enjoyed that victory at Ibrox today, certainly. And next weekend, James, it's huge. Every weekend is huge, and I guess from the neutral point of view, what's happened this weekend just keeps it absolutely fascinating in terms of the thriller that this season is. And next weekend, Sunday, midday kickoff, Easter Road, Hibs at home to Celtic. And then on the Monday night, Hearts at home to Rangers. I mean, if Hearts can get 3 points at home against Rangers, I know it's dependent on what happens at Easter Road on the Sunday, but would you really believe then that Hearts are going to win this title?
Yeah, but I mean, that's dependent on what Celtic do. I know that you have to say, if Celtic get a victory, you would feel that Hearts need to win. To maintain, being favourites.
So you feel Hearts have to beat Rangers at Tynecastle?
If Celtic win, you feel that Hearts would. Yeah, I think you'd feel they'd need to win just for them to maintain, their status as favourites, to be in the position of leading the way, looking like, because they've had to deal with pressure all season. People have been waiting for Hearts to bottle it all season. There's no way they're going to bottle it. Even if Hearts don't win the league, it's not because they've bottled it. They've dealt with pressure.
And injuries.
Yeah, they have. Every team's dealt with injuries, but Hearts at the top of the table have dealt with people expecting them to drop results, performances. They've expected them to fall away, and they're still there. They'll believe that, you ask on the show, is it written for Hearts? I think they'll start to believe it's written for them, and not in a way that they'll say, right, doesn't matter what we do from here on in, we're going to win anyway. I just think they'll feel that things are falling into place for them, that they've got the momentum the impetus to go and take advantage of it. And at a Hearts' point of view, going into the game next week, if they win, they can almost put Rangers to the side, because then Celtic need to play Rangers. They'll be hoping, probably for a draw if Hearts win the game next week, and then they can start to look towards the end of the season. But yeah, I think that Hearts will feel, for them to maintain the kind of feeling, they'll feel that like they have to win against Rangers next week.
Just to recap the table, Hearts are top at the moment, 73 points. Have actually extended their lead at the top. Celtic are now second on 70 points. Rangers third on 69 points. Rangers have the best goal difference, plus 34. Celtic 26. Hearts 31. And we must talk about Celtic, Kevin Thomson, because it felt like they had a new Dyson Maida, or the old Dyson Maida back, actually, against Falkirk, who were not an easy team to take care of from Celtic point of view. They really seized on that mistake that Falkirk had, and Maida took his opportunity. If Martin O'Neill has something like the Dyson Maida of the season before back at his disposal, then Celtic are a huge threat still to Hearts, aren't they?
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't be writing them off, and I don't think anyone will be that's got half a brain. Especially when you've got Martin O'Neill at the helm. He's been over the course and distance so many times, so much experience. So it's funny, I was just thinking about what you were going to ask there, Jonathan. I thought they've all actually got their own wee story of success. When you think of Hearts, it would be an astronomical achievement if they can go on and win the title. Celtic have sacked 2 managers this year. Martin O'Neill's had 2 different stints as interim. If he can find a way, galvanise the Celtic team to get over the line. When Danny Rowe took over for Russell Martin, everybody never gave Rangers any chance. So it's amazing, actually, the climax of the season has been so exciting. Obviously, it's only exciting for these 3 teams in question if one of them get over the line. I cannot call it. I would never write Celtic off because I'm not naive enough to. I never done it as a player. I certainly wouldn't do it as a pundit and as ex-player. But I certainly do think, echoing what Fadi said there, I think if Hearts can beat Rangers, regardless of what Celtic do, I think it puts Rangers to bed. And then it becomes a two-horse race as such. The advantage that Celtic would have of that is home advantage as such when that game comes around. But what Fadi had mentioned there, you need to look after number one and take care of your own business. And the excitement for Hearts' perspective, if they continue to do that, the good bit for Celtic's perspective is they're still hanging in there. They're still there, they've still got a chance, and they've not been at their brilliant best by any stretch of imagination. We've seen brilliant Celtic teams dominate over the years. There's no doubt that this Celtic team have not been quite as good, but they're still on course to win a cup and a league double. So I think you'd be stupid to write them off, and I don't think people like Derek McInnes will be. But I certainly do think that if this next round of fixtures are going to be really pivotal.
James, you were at Celtic Park on Saturday. How impressed were you by Celtic overall? But before that, how impressed were you by Kyrell Wilson's goal for Falkirk, by the way?
Oh, it was quite magnificent. I think that his touch, or how he manipulates his body to make sure that the touch is just enough to get in front of him. And then it's all well and good taking a good touch and being in a good position. The finish is absolutely magnificent. I don't know if the voting's been done for goal of the season, but it will certainly be in the running. I know that normally you look at goals that win you games and, big important goals, but just for pure technique, absolutely outstanding. I was at the game. How impressed was our Celtic? I think they were better than they have been. I think that there was more glimpses of the old Celtic and their quality. Their pressure was really good. They were hunting in packs. They had a great energy at times, particularly at the start of the game. That's not to say Falkirk had their moments. First half, they looked like the team most likely to score. They had the better chances, but we're not surprised with Falkirk that they are a good side, that they're going to have chances. They'll feel, not hard done by, but they'll feel as if they could have taken the lead and maybe made it a different game. But then you look at Celtic and the changes they made, the freshness they're bringing to the squad. Alistair Johnston come back onto the pitch. That's a massive, massive boost for them. I thought Arne Engels, as much as what he does, or what he done on Saturday, wasn't he like eye-catching, spectacular. I think it shows the importance of Arne Engels to Celtic because he's got that physicality, he's got that quality, he'll take the ball. He's in alongside Callum McGregor instead of being one of the, Callum McGregor normally sits as a 6, Arne Engels plays as an 8, springing into a 10. with Hatate, we're used to seeing, who was nowhere near it yet on Saturday, nowhere near the team. I think Arnie Engels is probably, by not being in the team and being injured and being missing, has probably got a new appreciation for what he actually brings to the side. So having him back, Maida through the middle, he was a constant threat. His energy to go and press, it was like the new old days in Maida, and then his quality to score goals. Iheanacho looks fitter again, and he's probably been used in the right way by Martin O'Neill. I think that if you go and ask him to play 90, chase and fight and lost causes and press, you're probably not going to get the best out of him. So the management of him has been very good. I think Celtic are just bubbling along at the right moment. It looks like they're ready to hit top form. I don't think they've had it. I don't think they've shown that they can put that performance in for 90 minutes yet, but they look like they're ready just to hit top form, and that is a worry for Hearts and Rangers.
Quick one-word answers. Who's winning the title, Kevin?
After today, Hearts.
James?
Celtic.
Okay, bottom half of the table time, and it's equally difficult to try and work out what's going to happen in this playoff place at the bottom. First and foremost, Kevin, are Aberdeen safe after that 1-0 victory against Kilmarnock?
Yeah, I think so. I actually fancied Killie to go up there and actually get something out of the game, but obviously a brilliant start for Aberdeen, the perfect start really for Stephen Robinson and his men. And they've probably now gave themselves that cushion, I think, to kind of be the team that's probably they'll end up getting more points almost than Falkirk probably. I know that's stupid because
they won't. They're on 36. Falkirk are on 46, and I know what you're saying. Maybe Dundee United could actually surpass Falkirk's total, I guess. But it
always tends to happen. The team that finishes 7th end. But I know obviously they play different games, etc. But I would say, to your question for that, Jonathan, I would say Aberdeen are now safe, pretty much safe. If you ask me to say who's going to end up in that playoff position, I know mathematically Marv's still fighting. I do think that Livingston will go down, unfortunately, even though Marv's a good friend of mine. And I'm delighted to see him doing well. They've actually been quite consistent since he got the job off the back of Davy Martindale, but probably too big a mountain to climb.
It's a lot
really
to ask a team that's only just won their second game of the season. But I would say about Livingston, I know the question about Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen are safe. For Livingston this season, as much as you look at it in a cold light of day, they hadn't won a game since August. They were in games. They were a tough team to play against. There was good performances in there. How big an achievement would that be if they could get out of the automatic spot? I don't think it's going to happen.
It's a nice idea. I mean, they are 9 points behind Kilmarnock with 4 games left to play.
But they play the teams that are above them.
Well, there is that, yes.
Which, I mean, that could be anybody, I know, but I mean the teams directly above them. But you never know. You never know. Imagine waiting till now, end of April to get your second win of the season, and then going on a run of winning the next four afterwards.
It was 1 win in 33 league matches until they obviously beat St Mirren.
Saved them all up to
I think
the
most intriguing thing for me is the playoffs. Obviously in the Championship you've got Dunfermline, big club, obviously going really well under Neil Lennon. You've got Arbroath obviously in there. I know they play each other on Friday night, so that'll determine whether they'll play each other 3 times in a week effectively. Then you've got Partick Thistle, who have been absolutely brilliant. I don't think there's many teams, depending on who gets there, I'll fancy playing a potential Dunfermline or Arbroath for a Partick Thistle over a double header.
Well, we saw in the Scottish Cup, didn't we? St Mirren had a real fight in their hands against Partick Thistle, and then Dunfermline Athletic rolled all over the top of Aberdeen.
Well, they beat Aberdeen, they beat Hibs, so they've been on that journey. They've then beat Falkirk, so they beat 3 Premier League teams to get to the Scottish Cup final. So, if you're going to be one of the teams, obviously Dundee are looking over their shoulder as well, which is obviously another one of my old teams, as you keep on reminding me. So hopefully they're not in the dogfight. Well, they are in a dogfight, but hopefully they can do enough just to save themselves for that playoff position.
Yeah, Kilmarnock currently second bottom on 28 points. St Mirren on 30 points, Dundee on 33 points. It does look like it's one of those 3 sides, James. I'll ask you the impossible question: who's going to be second bottom?
Pass.
Come on!
You've never sat on a fence in your life.
I don't. There's nothing that I can give you a reason for other than just picking a random name. I think that The three teams have shown throughout the season, if we're going off the fact it's going to be Kilmarnock, St Mirren or Dundee, they've shown throughout the season that they're capable of winning games. They're not only just capable of winning games, they're capable of putting on good performances to win those games. So I think that I'd just be giving you a random name just for the sake of it. I don't think that's fair on any of the teams. But the one thing I'll say is, and a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. I think it's the perfect reason for having the split, because there's going to be no debate over the results. It's teams that are fighting against each other to see who finish in those positions. I think it's the best way to be. I think it's the best way at the top of the table as well. So no, it's a brilliant concept, and this will be the best year for the split because it's going to decide everything.
Are you going to give me a name, Kevin?
I was going to go off the back of Faddy said, and I'm not saying it just because I know Neil McCann, I didn't know Craig McLeish, who's done a brilliant job, by the way, since he's went into St Mirren. I think he's changed the style, totally different from what Stephen Robinson. They've both got their different ideas. I would say that I don't think the word nice is fair, but I would say St Mirren are a slightly nicer team under Craig McLeish, the way they play, a bit more expansive. And I would say if there was probably one wee thing that you could turn just to be that wee bit more nastier in a relegation battle, it might stand them in a slightly better stead. And by the way, that's against everything I believe in, because when I was a coach and had that opportunity myself, I wanted to pass, I wanted to play. But when you find yourself in a predicament that St Mirren are in, I think it'll be between Killie and St Mirren who end up in that.
The three of them try and play though. The three of them do try and play.
Aye, I would say Killie are a wee bit more direct than what St Mirren are, to be fair. But and obviously because they're going to cut each other's throat, Jonathan, so it's going to be so hard to call. But I just think that what I would say is we're thinking that Motherwell, Hibs, Falkirk are going to have a big say in where the title goes. I think Livingston will have a bigger say. I think whoever plays against Livingston are in for a right good game, so it's going to be interesting.
Two final things before we finish up. Why has Will Ferry become a goal machine all of a sudden, James?
You're watching Faddy?
Well, I mean, his first goal, that's just pure luck.
That's not goal of the season, is it?
No, it's not, but being at the right moment, the right place at the right time. But I think that if you look at Dundee United over the last number of weeks, a lot of their play is dependent on their wing-backs. Amafata has obviously been a big loss for them, but the energy of Lucas Stevenson, it was Ryan Strain at the weekend, Will Ferry in particular, is the onus is on him to get forward and to get back, to put crosses into the box and also to go and attack at the back post. And I think that they've got massive reward for that over the last number of weeks. The thing for me with Will Ferry is every time you watch him, he's got an outstanding left foot, and his crossing's great. He's got a shot from distance. His range of passing's really good, and that's the qualities that you see. The biggest one for me is how hard he works, the intensity that he runs forward to chase a lost cause, to offer for a teammate, to go and put pressure on, to make that run in behind, if it's a pass, to get in at the back post when a cross is coming in. His attitude and his energy is absolutely outstanding. That drives your team on, and that's why he's probably getting his rewards through hard work. Jim's managed to settle the team down a little bit and get them more into the style that he wants to play. And unfortunately for them, they want to be in the top six, but they've shown their character by going and trying to finish the season strongly. Will Ferry's been at the heart of that. He's been outstanding this season.
And Kevin, just before we finish up, what is your abiding image of this weekend?
Defeat.
Oh, for all your clubs. Yeah, sorry.
Defeat.
That wasn't what I was getting at. I was actually getting towards that, what we call a cutaway in the TV trade of must have been a young Hearts fan with that red card. It's a brilliant image. When they make the documentary of the season, which is inevitable, that will be in there.
That boy will be famous one day. Aye.
How do they know? Either that or he's a big fan of referees.
That's a good point.
a young referee in the making.
Just a fan.
That's a lovely thought.
Yes, love you, Don.
That's a great red card. Well done, Don Robertson. Yes, lovely thought. Thanks, James. Fantastic. You've got a big day of golf coming up, so we need to get away, don't we?
Yes, that's right. Golf and other things.
Some life.
Great stuff. Kevin Thomson, James McFadden, thank you very much indeed. Remember, we are here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every single day, so to make sure you don't miss out, subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Scottish Football, the gift that keeps on giving. Thanks for listening.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.